What up, my man of society? It is your host with the most, Shadowloke, back at you with another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and are subscribed to the channel. It's absolutely free. That is how you help my channel get into the algorithm. Highly appreciate if you go ahead and do that. Now, what I wanted to get into was requests. I was requested a video, by an individual, Mogan 562. He had commented on my prison spread video, right? And he had left, I guess a situation, right? Where an individual who's incarcerated, for a long period of time, level 4 yards. And, his parents always looked after him. They went to go visit him, send him money, took care of him. He came out, and pretty much, took his jefa's money and pretty much left him broke and pretty much took advantage of his family, right? And he asked, how is that individuals could survive level 4 yards, right? And could show these individuals respect and all this and that, other convicts, but come out and take advantage of their family and not show them no respect and disrespect them and etc. Right? And the thing is that this is not just an isolated incident, like let's say per se to convicts, right? But it's a personality disorder, right? The type of individual like this, right? A con artist, right? A sociopath, narcissist, sociopath, psychopath, even. You know what I mean? Individuals who cannot create no bond with nobody, including family members. You know what I mean? They are only looking after themselves and themselves only, meaning that they'll throw anybody under the bus and take advantage of whoever they need to take advantage of. That just isn't, like I said, that's not just isolated to convicts, right? But it's an overall personality disorder. There's a lot of people who behave these traits, right? But in the overall scale, it's a more smaller amount, right? When it comes to the overall population, like let's say, out of all those convicts that are incarcerated, very few will actually behave like this individual, right? Where he would actually, do some grimy stuff like that, right? Because like I said, very few individuals are actually bred to behave like these individuals, but they do exist, nonetheless, right? So it's not to say that prison made them this way, or because he's a convict, he's this way, right? He has been this way. He has always been this way. You get what I'm saying? He has always been an individual who used people's emotions to get what he wants, right? He played into their emotions, told them what they wanted to hear, pretty much to get whatever he needed to get. He uses and abuses people. That's the type of individual that we're talking about here. But how do they survive level 4 yards and with other inmates? Now, normally I don't speak about incarceration or nothing like that, right? When it comes to my channel, but since it's overall talking about human behavior, I'll go into a little bit of it, right? Overall, when it comes to, it's not so much that he's respecting the other convicts, right? It's not that, he's showing them respect and stuff like that. This is always about this individual. So this is not about, him respecting these individuals, but more about, I have to play this game in order to get what I want. You get what I'm saying? So this is always just all about him, right? In order for me to survive in here, I have to follow these rules, not because I actually believe in these rules or because I actually, believe in this whole criminal umbrella, right? But more because I have to survive, and this is the best way of surviving, So this is about him. This is about following which option could benefit him and which option could be the most, easy route to take for him, right? Including when you were saying that he even was trying to persuade his mom to, smuggle contraband in there and stuff like that. It's all about him, right? Me getting my money, me, living as best as I can in there, right? It's about him. It's not about, people and causes and, you know what I mean? It's all about him. It has always been about him, right? It's just that sometimes, even as parents, right? Some of, your kid could, display some bad traits to them, right? But people are stuck in denial and refuse to see it, right? But if people really sit down and actually think back, they would surely see signs that their kid has always been a little, scandalous, pues. You get what I mean? Sometimes people don't want to look at the mistakes, right? Including the mistakes that are within their own kids, because they don't want to, see that their kids have any, bad traits to them, right? But unfortunately, some do, right? So this is like that type of individual, it just happens to be one of those cases where it's an individual that's like a sociopath, someone who really doesn't care about nobody but himself. Meaning he'll come out and he'll tell the family whatever they need to hear. I'm gonna change. I care about you guys the last time. He'll tell them whatever he needs to tell them and go to the great length just to get whatever he wants out of them. He's never gonna change. You know what I mean? And he only cares about himself. I know it's probably not like, I know it sucks, saying it like that, right? But individuals who display these traits, bro, they normally don't change. I'm not even gonna come and lie, and you know what I mean. Now, I'm not to say that there isn't hope and stuff like that, but sadly, 9 times out of 10, bro, they don't change, bro. They end up literally being that way till they, till it's time for them to go. They utilize and idolize. They utilize everyone around them, right? They burn all the bridges, you know. And like I said, they're the greatest of great con artists, right? Because since they've been doing it for so long, since it is their persona, they're really good at talking, right? They're really good at persuading people. They're really good at charming people. They're really good at, convincing people of their lies. You see it like that even happen here on YouTube. There's several YouTuber, individuals out there who have tricked individuals, who have tricked the audience, right? Making them believe the fantasy world that they created, right? Because they're really good, because they could create lies on the fly, on the spot, bro. Their brains never stop thinking. You know what I mean? Because they've been doing it for so long that it comes natural to them. You know what I mean? They will always have, an excuse ready to go, bro. Even if you try to, debate them and narrow them down, bro, they're gonna keep opening up different lanes, bro. That's the mind of a con artist. That's why it's really hard, that's why it's so easy for them to manipulate people, and why it's so hard for people to believe others, right? When they point out these individuals, right? Because they're so smooth at talking that people are like, nah, he can't be lying. How can he be lying? Look. And unfortunately, there's people that are like that in this world, right? And another thing is that people have to understand, when somebody gets incarcerated, I know it's a place that you put somebody to rehabilitate them, right? And you release them once society feels like they're rehabilitated. But truth and reality is that prison doesn't rehabilitate you. Prison only makes people worse. It does not help them. It does not make them better. It makes them worse. They now pick up bad habits. You know what I mean? Now they create, alignments and connections, right, to more criminal activity, right? Or maybe better improve criminal activity of theirs, right? Connections. So it doesn't, and not only that, but it teaches a whole lot of bad behaviors, right, of individuals on how they should carry themselves, right? Never let yourself short-tempered. Aggression and fighting is the best way to get what you want. Manipulation. It teaches all these bad behaviors. So prison is not a place that it rehabilitates you, because there's nothing about it that rehabilitates you. It only makes individuals worse, I'm telling you, right? So then they come out into society, they're not rehabilitated. You know what I mean? Now, some are more, strong-minded than others, right? We're all different, right? Some people could handle scenarios and stress a little bit better than others, right? So some actually do change their ways and better themselves, right? But most people will probably better themselves until they end up, with some problems, like let's say some problems happen, or something of that nature, where now this individual feels stressed. It's so easy for this individual now to go back to his old ways, or relapse, let's say with drugs, right? They were doing good and now they're relapsing. But that's why, because prison doesn't teach you how to, handle your problems, doesn't teach you how to, handle these type of situations, right? These scenarios, in case an individual gets put in these kind of scenarios, right? So they don't know how to deal with the overall situations that, they turn back to their old ways, right? Because, it's the thing that they know how to do, that they feel like they know how to do, or the only thing that they probably feel that they're good at, or, you know what I mean? So that's why they go back to their old habits, right? But it doesn't teach individuals to be better. There's a lot of things wrong with, the United States prison system. because they actually don't teach these individuals how to better themselves, how to be a better productive person in society, right? It only teaches them how to be worse and how to trick individuals and how to, you know, you know, the wrong way of how to deal, the wrong way on how to be a productive person of society, right? A person of society. So it doesn't rehabilitate. I know people think they come out and they're rehabilitated now. They have learned, they change their ways, but in all true reality, no. Because nothing in there actually teaches you that, right? Nothing in there actually teaches you in order how to rehabilitate by taking somebody's stuff away, right? Now it's to the fact of like now they'll know what they had and they'll probably be more humble, right? Because now that they don't have nothing, right? Maybe now they'll think twice and stuff like that. But by taking something away from an individual, you're not teaching them anything, right? You're kind of letting him right there try to figure it out on his own. Some could, some can't, right? Not only that, but now other things start popping up in there and cooking up in his head, right? So there's nothing to teach these individuals because people have to keep this in mind. These individuals are in prison for a reason, right? Obviously, they weren't shown the best growing up, right? They weren't taught, how to carry themselves in society, right? Not to say that it was done on purpose and stuff like that, right? But these individuals, they didn't have nobody to school them, right? So even when they grow up to be adults, the schooling's not there. People could think, oh, it's common sense now and everything like that. But like I said, when these individuals, go through like that in childhood like that, common sense is different from your common sense to their common sense. Common senses are not the same. That's why common sense is not even a real thing. It isn't. People can look it up if you think I'm lying. But so individuals, when they come out, people think that, they're rehabilitated. But if they're not shown, then how could they change, bro? But overall, there's just very few individuals that are like that. And unfortunately, he sounds like he's one of those. It's, sadly, it's a overall personality disorder, in my personal opinion. But like I said, I'm not going to say it as facts because I would need to talk to this individual and, get to know his life story, his uprising, and to maybe, pinpoint, exactly maybe why this individual behaves in that manner. But from what you have told me, that's what I'm getting off of it. But I'm just saying, Shadow, we out.